please be seated. Good afternoon and welcome to the May 2019 commencement for the College of Fine Arts and Communication at Lamar University. My name is Dorina Holzhausen and I serve as the Dean of the college. I see so many familiar faces here among the graduates, and while I'm very proud and glad for you, I must say I'm also sad to know that many of you are leaving us, all of you are leaving us today. Earning a university degree is one of the highest accomplishments one can achieve. You cannot lose your education and nobody can take it away from you. You are stuck with this degree you earn today, for better or worse. Even you might not want this anymore, but something else. Thus it is my pleasure to welcome our graduating students and those who supported and nurtured them to this commencement ceremony. Together, we are all celebrating your success today, your perseverance and tenacity in obtaining your degree. Please turn your attention to the video screen and hear from some of the successful graduates of the class of 2019.
Lamar in general surprised me.
The first week of class was kind of the moment I realized there were a lot of brilliant students at Lamar.
You can become a leader on your campus and make an impact.
It really feels like home whenever you hear your family.
It's a beautiful campus. I love the aesthetics of Lamar.
It's really about engaging yourself and being, open to new experiences.
They are really pushing Lamar University to become a 21st century university.
This is the key university to attend to see that growth within yourself.
Once you graduate, you're not the same freshman that enter.
And there is no better place to find opportunity than Lamar University.
My time at Lamar University has changed me. Coming in as a transfer student, I didn't think I'm too late to make close friends or something like that. I'm going to get my degree and get out. I'm not going to have any of the same experiences as a freshman or somebody at another university would have. I have had the best experiences at Lamar University.
The involvement that I've had has allowed me to just gain confidence in myself and feel prepared for the next chapter of my life. And I think that's something Lamar has helped develop within me to accomplish anything that I can set my mind to and put my mind towards.
Some of my moments at Lamar University include being in the Showcase of Southeast Texas, the marching band, and also the pep band and the wind ensemble. I've been extremely privileged to be a part of those groups.
When I was a sophomore, I traveled to Ireland and England to observe dementia-friendly communities, and I was able to come back to the U.S. and replicate one here in our speech and hearing building. Being able to travel was a highlight of my college experience, but it also was very unique to have that opportunity as an undergraduate student and overall just make connections with people across the world.
You might think about, I want to go to a bigger university with like 50,000 students or like that. One of my biggest thing about Lamar University is it is what you make it out to be. You never will get lost in the system. Like the small community aspect is really important.
Some of the professors I've worked with have really molded my idea about being able to work with some of them in the position of a research mentor, so more as a colleague relationship rather than a faculty-student relationship.
My dad talks about all the time about his times at Lamar University. My mom talked about it all growing up also, so I wanted to experience that for myself. I can say that I have not been disappointed.
I think that this school allows for opportunities of growth, but also being able to be on your own and be a unique individual.
The best thing about college is you go through all this pain and struggle, and in the end, there's this sweet relief of getting your degree. There's payoff in the end. My mom calls me Bud all the time, so my mom would be like, keep fighting, Bud. You're gonna be all right, Bud. And my dad's just like, yeah, he'll be fine.
One of the key changes I've seen is that the perception of Lamar here in the Southeast Texas community and from LU students has really changed. That students are proud to be LU Cardinals, and they realize that there's so many opportunities available for them.
I can honestly say that I have loved my time at Lamar University. It's similar to my parents, and I'm happy that I follow in their footsteps. And the thing I'm most about Lamar is definitely the people. Your relationship is forged in fire, basically. Through all the stressful, all the 3 a.m. study sessions, all the all-nighters, and all the 8 a.m. tests, you really bond over all that. And I'm really going to miss them a lot.
If somebody else is able to attend Lamar University and find that sense of confidence within themselves, then I think that's probably the most important thing I would want for the next generation of LU students.
If you don't know if Lamar University is from you, just come down here and take a tour of the campus. If you do like it, don't be afraid to come here and really put your roots here in this university.
And as I said, we will miss you too. Nobody achieves success alone. The people whose moral, financial, and mentoring support made today possible for you should also be recognized, among them the faculty members of this college. I know each one of them personally and know how hard they work and how dedicated they are to Lamar and their students. They have provided our students with a contemporary and valuable higher education that is second to none. Due to their diligence and efforts, our graduates are knowledgeable, highly skilled, worldly, and properly prepared for life and careers. Would our faculty please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Many others also supported you on your road to achievement. Candidates, please join me in expressing our appreciation for their unique contribution to your success. Would the parents of our candidates please stand and receive our applause? I think we need to say thank you for your perseverance. Would the grandparents of our candidates please stand and be recognized? Would the spouses, children, and grandchildren of our candidates please stand and be recognized? And finally, would the friends and other relatives of our candidates please stand and be recognized? Thank you all for being here. Our crowd, I believe, is always the most raucous of them all, and we love that. I do hope that this is the last we will see of you and that you will return as alumni or graduate students. You will soon realize that lifelong learning will be an essential part of your future. Remember, Lamar is always here to offer an opportunity and support. We will also welcome you back in your role as mentors and role models for our students. This will be your academic home forever. Enjoy your newfound and hard-earned success. We all wish you a long and successful career in the field you chose. Our graduates today will receive 133 degrees in 12 fields of study. Students come from 50 Texas cities and 10 US states other than Texas. This is the most geographically diverse group of students I have met since I have been here. At this time, it is my honor to introduce the platform participants for today's event. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. As I call your names, will the platform members in row 1 to my right please rise and remain standing? Dr. Kenneth Evans, President of Lamar University. Dr. Joe Nordgren, Acting Associate Provost. Dr. Brenda Nichols, Vice Provost for Digital Learning. Mr. Craig Ness, Vice President of Finance and Operations. Dr. John Bello Ogunu, Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion. Row 1 may be seated. As I call your names, will the platform members in row 2 to my right please rise and remain standing? Dr. Ashley Dawkins, Associate Professor in the Department of Speech and Hearing Sciences and the college's Senate Representative. Dr. Kevin Dotson, Dean of the Rio Honors College. Dr. William Hahn, Dean of the Graduate College. Dr. Jamika Mott, Instructor in the Department of Music. Row 2 may be seated. As I call your names, will the platform members in row 1 to my left now rise and please remain standing? Dr. James Holly, today's commencement speaker and a tremendous Lamar benefactor. Mr. Daniel Pemberton, who carried the college gonfalon and is today's student speaker. Ms. Donna Meeks, Chair of the Department of Art. Dr. Natalie Tyndall, Chair, Department of Communication and Media, and Dr. Diane Clark, Chair, Department of Deaf Studies and Deaf Education. Row 1 may be seated. As I call your names, will the platform members in row 2 to my left now rise and please remain standing? Dr. Brian Shook, Chair, Mary Morgan Moore, Department of Music. Dr. Monica Hahn, Chair, Department of Speech and Hearing Sciences. Dr. Jeanette Fresney, Professor, Department of Music. And Mr. David Short, University Registrar. Row 2 may be seated. I also wish to recognize conductor Dr. Andrew McMahon and members of the Lamar University Brass Ensemble. Your music greatly adds to the festivities of this very special occasion. Also from the Department of Music, thank you, Dr. Mott, for your rendition of the National Anthem and the Alma Mater. And in advance, thank you, Dr. Fresney, for reading the names of our graduates. And there are two very special people in the audience, and I would like to recognize Mrs. Holly and my husband, Paul Holzhausen. Now you can applaud. Candidates, this is your moment to shine. You did it. Please know we are all very proud of your accomplishments. We are celebrating your success with you, and you should be proud of yourself. Your university education has equipped you to receive and enjoy the benefits of society and has prepared you to continue to learn as you move into a new life. Enjoy and use your education to its fullest, and you and everyone you touch will be more prosperous for it. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce the student speaker, graduating senior Daniel Pemberton, who is from Beaumont, Texas, and is a communications major with an emphasis in corporate communications. In his time at Lamar, he has distinguished himself in both his academics and in his involvement across campus. He is the student government senator for the College of Fine Arts and Communication, where he chairs the Public Relations Committee and also serves as student vice president of the Lamar Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society chapter. He founded the college's Student Advisory Council to the Dean and has served as its secretary treasurer. He is also an honorary inductee to the National French Honor Society Phi Delta Phi. As a student researcher, Pemberton studies film and media. He has presented his work at Lamar University's own conference on humanities, arts, social and behavioral sciences, education and business, as well as the Pop Culture Association of the South's annual conference. His work has been recognized in the 2018 Twin Star Philosophy and Humanities Conference and the 2018 National Collegiate Honors Council Conference. Pemberton has also taken the opportunity to study abroad in France, where he visited the cities of Paris, Lyon, and Giverny to studying French cinema and modern art. In the course of his college career, Pemberton has utilized what he learns in the classroom, both on and off campus, covering campus events and features for publications such as Cardinal Cadence, Cadenza, and University Press, while writing about Beaumont's arts and music scene for Cat 5 and High Street Times. Through connections made at Lamar University, he has been able to channel his hobbies into skills through programming the music lineup for the 2018 Boomtown Film and Music Festival, programming and hosting the French Film Fridays and International Film Festivals events on campus. I don't know, where did you find time to study here? And producing a 1-hour radio program for 91.3 KVLU. After graduation, Daniel will continue his explorations of media through the pursuit of a master's in arts in media studies at the New School in New York. So, Daniel, welcome.
Thank you, Dean Holtzhausen. And I want to begin by saying congratulations to everyone here. The path to this stage has been long and, for many of us, challenging. But I'd also like to extend a sincere thank you to all the parents and close friends here, showing their continued support for their graduate. I'd also like to thank the faculty for all that they've done in ensuring that their students arrive at this moment. Without your help, support, and guidance, many of us would not be here today. And I count myself in that population. My name is Daniel Pemberton, and I'm honored to be your student commencement speaker today. The process of deciding what I was to say this afternoon took a lot of thought. Some of you may be familiar with the term imposter syndrome, the irrational fear that someone is not deserving of a position they've been granted. I've been feeling that in spades. I can think of plenty of students sitting before me who I've had classes with whose stories, words, and experiences are much more deserving of this platform. But nonetheless, I do have a few things that I ended up deciding I would like to share with y'all. Stuff that's been on my mind as I've wrapped up this last semester of my college career. But first, I want to say a few words about Lamar. I count myself lucky to be a part of this institution, and this college in particular. I consider enrolling in the College of Fine Arts and Communications one of the best decisions I ever made, hands down. Through this college, I've been able to network and meet talented creators, artists, thinkers, many of which are some of the smartest people I've ever met, and some of which I'm lucky enough to call my friends. I will keep many fond memories of late-night video editing, last-second dialogue recording, coffee-fueled script rewrites, and of course, campaign planning with me always. But of course, a great group of students would be nothing without an equally amazing faculty. And Lamar has that. This college has connected me to educators with whom I have to credit a large portion of my academic success. I remember accompanying O'Brien Stanley and Dr. Nikki Milhalski to the Pop Culture Association of the South's 2017 conference in Savannah, Georgia. This was my first academic conference outside of Lamar, and it was a launch pad to many others that would follow. and without them pushing me to produce my best work and to take me out of my comfort zone, to put that work under the scrutiny of other researchers, I would not be the student I am today. And when things got too stressful for any of us, we could always count on Miss Stanley's meditation sessions. She would offer a respite from the hectic pace of college life. The Greek philosopher Plutarch said, "The mind is not a vessel that needs filling, but wood that needs igniting." And I think it's thanks to these three professors I've mentioned, as well as the many others that make up this college, that all of our individual flames have been lit and will continue to burn long after we leave this space. I believe that we don't just remember our lives in terms of events, in terms of what happened, but we remember our lives really in terms of who was there with us. In the past 4 years, I've met faculty and students who will no doubt have a lasting impact on who I am as a person, and for that I'm beyond grateful. But what happens now that we've reached the end of this journey? After today, we will all be members of an elite club. And I don't just mean the elite club that is Lamar graduates. No, only 6.7% of the world's population hold a college degree of any kind. In the United States, that figure is a little bit higher, at 33.4%. This statistic brings into sharp relief the importance of what we've accomplished here today. For some, this accomplishment has proven to be incredibly challenging. There are those of us here who have suffered from mental illness, from devastating medical diagnoses, some whose access to communication is trivialized outside of this campus, and some who even 2 years after Hurricane Harvey are still putting their lives back together, and some who will be the first of their family to earn a college degree. And I again want to congratulate every one of you for what you've done. May the magnitude of this achievement never be diminished or made less of. The support Lamar offers to students facing such challenges is not a mere benefit, but a necessity in the path to academic success. Unfortunately, the access to education, resources, and basic necessities many of us enjoy is far from universal. We live in an age characterized by massive inequality. As we leave this space, we are inheriting a very troubled world. The issues our generation face are unprecedented throughout human history with regards to their severity. We live in exceptional times. But as members of this 33.4%, we've been given the opportunity to hone necessary abilities that will help us going forward. The ability to articulate our ideas, to influence others, to create impactful works of art, to ensure that the right to communication is one that is enjoyed by all people, and to lead in speaking truth to power, whether it be as journalists, musicians, speech pathologists, filmmakers, painters, creators. We do live in exceptional times, times which call for exceptional people, and I do not doubt that my fellow graduates will rise to meet the demands of our age. Civil rights activist Malcolm X viewed education as one of the most important elements necessary in the struggle for human rights. He said, "Education is our passport to the future. Tomorrow belongs to those who prepare today." I believe that no matter what happens, the sun will continue to rise, but we need to decide now what world we would like that sun to rise on. And in light of the reality of our times, there are a few things that I ask we remember as we leave this space. I ask that we find the humility to admit when we're wrong. John Dewey remarked that some of the most important lessons are learned in the face of failure. I, for one, know I have many failures which await me in the future, and I cannot wait to meet the wiser person that will turn me into. I ask that we possess the knowledge to question those systems which perpetuate injustice and the bravery to challenge them. Many say that bigotry and hatred our inevitable faults of human nature. I don't believe this is true. And I don't believe that should stop us from championing the best elements of our humanity, our capacity for love and our capacity for brotherhood. And I finally ask that we not forget, above all, the duty we have to our fellow man. Our world cannot afford myopia, and it cannot afford short-sightedness. If we're to make our way out of the problems we face today, it will only be through solidarity, understanding, and care. As communicators, artists, academics, we should not be content with simply speaking up for others, but we should strive to create a world where the most marginalized of our society have the means and the power to tell their own stories and to craft their own futures. We face many challenges moving forward, but I believe with all my heart that we've been equipped to face them. This is our time. So let's go out in the world today and let's show what the Lamar University class of 2019 is capable of. I can't wait to see what we achieve. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Those are indeed wise words. Next, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. James Holley. Dr. Holley is a medical doctor, and he's founder and former CEO of SETMA, and is a 1973 graduate of the UT Health Long School of Medicine, San Antonio, where he is an adjunct professor of family and community medicine. He's also an associate clinical professor in the Department of Internal Medicine at the Texas A&M College of Medicine. Founded in 1995, after 20 years in solo practice, Dr. Holley led SETMA to adopt electronic medical records. SETMA became a leader in healthcare informatics, winning the HIMSS Davies Award in 2005 and the Stories of Success Award in 2010, as well as the Electronic HI Innovator of the Year in 2012 and 2013. Dr. Holley was named the HIMSS Physician IT Leadership Award winner. In 2014, he received the inaugural Patient-Centered Medical Home Practice Award from the Patient-Centered Primary Care Collaborative. Dr. Holley writes and lectures extensively on health policy, informatics, and healthcare transformation. All of his articles are published at jamesholley.md.com. In 2009, SETMA began publicly reporting by provider name performance on more than 300 quality metrics. From 2000 to 2018, Dr. Holley wrote a weekly newspaper health column. All columns are posted on Dr. Holley's website under Your Life, Your Health. Dr. Holley is a frequent invited speaker at national meetings on healthcare policy and quality, on healthcare informatics, and on the place of data analytics in primary care. Dr. and Mrs. Holley endowed the first distinguished chair in patient-centered medical home at UT Health San Antonio, along with an annual distinguished lectureship in PCMH named after Dr. Holley's and Mrs. Holley's fathers. SETMA has been visited by delegations from China, Australia, and numerous universities, medical schools, and practices from across the United States. For their 50th wedding anniversary, Dr. Holley endowed the Carolyn Bellew Holley Distinguished Professorship in Teaching and Learning at Northwestern State University. At the same time, they endowed scholarships in honor of both their mothers. In 2012, Dr. Holley received the Distinguished Alumnus Award from UT Health San Antonio, and in 2016, he was named to the Long Purple Line, the Hall of Fame distinction at his undergraduate school, Northwestern State University. In 2017, 2017, Dr. and Mrs. Holly were elected the first members of the Esculapian Laureate Society, is that right? At UT Health for contributing more than $2 million to the Long School of Medicine. In 2019, Setma was acquired by Stewart Healthcare. Coincident with that acquisition, Dr. Holly retired from the practice of medicine after a 43-year primary care career in Beaumont. And you might wonder, how did we get so lucky to have Dr. Holly and Mrs. Holly here today? Well, Dr. Holly learned that we were fundraising for a new performance piano in the Rothwell. And when he heard, they gave us $100,000 toward the Steinway D performance piano in the Rothwell. And when I met him for the first time, we had a performance on the piano. Dr. Jacob Clark, I believe, performed. He spoke so eloquently about giving that there and then I asked him to come and be today's commencement speaker. Dr. Holly, we are very honored to have you.
It is a delight to be here and to join you, and in particular the students who are now alumni in the next 35 or 40 minutes. We are honoring today those who have participated in the School of Fine Arts and Communications, and you have studied art, communications and media, deaf studies and deaf education, music, speech and hearing sciences, and theater and dance. Unless you should ever be threatened with the triviality of what you've accomplished, I want to remind you of how many people gave their lives in World War II to preserve the art works of the world, and who survived the horror of the Holocaust with music in their hearts and being performed by fellow prisoners. It's remarkable what you have done and what you've achieved. My personal roots at Lamar are very deep. My son is a graduate from Lamar in 1996 with a BS in political science and philosophy. The designation of his degree, BS, is particularly valuable in his case, being a political science major. My oldest granddaughter is currently a student at Lamar. However, my roots go back to 1938, when my father enrolled as a student at Lamar. Unfortunately, the day after he enrolled and attended his first classes, he became homesick. He left school, never to return. Each of you who today receive your degree stand upon the precipice of the rest of your life. A precipice is a very steep side of a mountain where danger, trouble, or difficulty begin. This imagery is not often used in this context. Most often, we would say that you stand on the threshold of your life, which means the point at which something begins. In actuality, both precipice and the threshold apply to a university commencement. Threshold speaks of opportunity, while precipice warns of the risk of wrong choices. But it is from the precipice that you can see the farthest and the clearest. At this moment of commencement, I adjure you to choose wisely. I challenge you to cross the threshold with the solemnity that it is also a precipice. For as this day foreshadows great promise, it also harbors great risk. Remember the words of Minnie Haskin's poem in 1908, and she said this, and I quote, "And I said to the man who stood at the gate of the year, 'Give me a light that I may tread safely into the unknown.' And he replied, 'Go out into the darkness and put your hand in the hand of God. That shall be to you better than light and safer than a known way.' So I went forth and finding the hand of God, trod safely, gladly into the night." That is your challenge today. My personal introduction to the fine arts began at the Don Theater in Natchitoches, Louisiana, when I experienced the performances of Maestro Tom and his virtuoso companion, Jerry. Some of you will recognize that Tom and Jerry played more classical music in their cartoons than any other performances. That's where I learned to love the hijinks, but also I loved the music. When I was 9, my 5th grade class went to the Fine Arts Auditorium at Northwestern State College, where I experienced my first live symphonic orchestra performance. The conductor was Dr. Joseph Carlucci. In 1975, my wife and I attended the first presentation of the Beaumont Symphony after we moved here, and the conductor was Dr. Joseph Carlucci. The symmetry is significant to me. My first academic experience with communications was in a speech class when I was 18 as a college sophomore at Northwestern. In that class sat a young woman whom I had not met, but which 3 years later I would marry. This August, we will celebrate our 54th anniversary. We both remember that speech class. In September, we were assigned a speech with a visual aid. Now, I know you're not clear on the concept, so let me explain. That's something you can see. I attended class knowing there were 8 people ahead of me in the order of performances or presentations, so I knew he couldn't go through 9 speeches, and I attended class in my usual state of unpreparedness, slumped down in my chair, prepared to listen to 8 boring speeches. The teacher and I had a love-hate relationship. I loved him, he hated me. And he skipped over those 8 people and called my name. Well, it was something or nothing, so I thought something was better than nothing, so I stood up. He sat up straight in his chair and looked quizzically at me like, what's he going to do? He doesn't have a visual aid, which he was right. I looked desperately for something that I could move and use for a visual aid. All I saw was a piece of chalk, but you couldn't use the blackboard. It was written in the rules. I walked up, picked up a piece of chalk, turned around. He had his hand up to say, you can't use the blackboard. And I took 3 steps to the front of the room, and I tossed that chalk into the air very ceremoniously and watched it crumble to the floor. At that point, I said, what made that chalk hit the floor? I had a visual aid. Now, all I needed was a speech. I said, you think it was gravity, but it's really the little green people. They live in the air, and they're cleaning their homes. I had one in my pocket, but they couldn't see him because they didn't believe. I did, and so I could. I gave a 15-minute speech on the little green people. My wife, sitting right over here, can testify that's exactly what happened. At the end of the class, he would give you your grade, and I asked him, I had an A- with a question mark. I said, what's the question mark? And he said, oh, it was excellent, no doubt. I want to know when you prepared it. I shrugged my shoulders and walked out. My communications education continued 3 weeks later when we were given an extemporaneous speech assignment. You would stand in front of the class, and the teacher would give you a subject, and off the top of your head, you have to give a speech. I had already done that. He gave me the subject of the alarm clock. Before Ock was out of his mouth, I said, in 1786, John Smith in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, conceived of the idea of combining an alarming device and a timing device, and when I said that, he said, stop, stop, stop. You know too much about alarm clocks. I started laughing just like you did. He said, you made that up. I said, yes. His face was bright red. I thought it was his natural complexion, but it was his blood pressure. He said, all right, Mr. Farther Than Your Pants, give me a speech on the hole in the donut. And before the nut was out of his mouth, I said, just this morning I was reading about that. It didn't go well. I did get an A, though. That was my first introduction to communications. I've tried to find Mr. Graham in many years since then, but no one knows where he is. I think he probably crawled off in a hole and cried himself to sleep. I've spent my life giving a lot of speeches, but with more preparation than when I was 18 in 1962. The ultimate value of fine arts and all the things that you have studied were really shown in one of my favorite movies called Mr. Holland's Opus. I hope you've seen it. If you haven't, you should. When budgetary constraints were upon the school that Mr. Holland taught in, they eliminated the art program and the music program. In protest, Mr. Holland said this, and I want you to remember these words. If you eliminate art and music and all the other subjects that you uniquely study, the time will come when students have nothing to read and write about. And I believe that's really true. The academic disciplines you have pursued, perhaps more than the sciences, liberal arts, engineering, and others, help define who we are as human beings. Your careers will engage the participation of almost all people, giving meaning, beauty, and joy to their lives. You are a unique group, often uniquely possessed of and by passion and heart. Nurture your skills for the benefit of your community. As you transition from being students to being alumni, I would like to admonish you to do 4 things. Make a life, pay your debt, join a team, and prepare to be measured. Don't forget that tomorrow you will join those like me who are in their autumn years. You think it'll be forever, but it won't be. It'll be as if it's tomorrow. Without thoughtfulness, you may then lament, where did the years go? Each morning when I arise and walk into my study, I see 2 things first. One is the letter of acceptance, dated January 22nd, 1968, when I was accepted to medical school. That letter opened up a potential future for me that was really magical. The other thing is an original watercolor piece of art prepared for me at my retirement by a lady at the medical school, and it's of the medical school building. Here we have something with great promise, and the other thing that foretells what happened over the last 50 years. It is sobering to have that letter of promise of the future in the watercolor, which portrays the memories of that life now spent. More than a lamentation, this remembrance is that each day must be filled with gratitude and with thanksgiving for having had the blessing of a life of meaning, which you now join that team. The diploma you receive today will be your beginning. How you fill in the next 50 years is up to you. I bid you do so well. The first thing is make a life. My secular hero is Winston Churchill. I lament that I could have known him. He died in 1964. In 1964, I was 20 years old. I could have flown to England, walked up to his door, say, "Hey, Winston." I didn't. I regret that. What a great man. He is credited with saying the following thing. You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. Sometimes we're so focused on the getting that we forget and fail to achieve the latter. Giving is not just related to money, and the impact of what you give is not judged by the monetary value of that gift. It is judged by its cost to you. Remember, the commendation of the widow's mite in Scripture gave her greater honor than those that gave hundreds of thousands of dollars, and she gave 2 cents. But she gave everything she had. When you learn the joy of giving, and you give everything you've got, you will have given a gift of immeasurable value. Don't wait until you have wealth in order to learn the art and the discipline of giving. Begin now, today, and maintain that giving spirit as long as you live. I challenge each one of you that within 12 months of your graduation, you give $10 to this university. And each year thereafter, for the next 10 years, you give $10. You will have given $100. And by that time, you will have more than you, perhaps you can give $100. It's only a meal at Papado's if you only take 2 people. If you take more than that, you could give more. And you would be amazed. You just ask the president, what would happen if you as graduates, influencing others as graduates to do the same thing, did that over the next 10 years? You would have given several $1 million to your university. And it will transform not only your life, but the life of the school that you will learn to love even more so as you go on. When I was a sophomore at Northwestern State, I was 18. I met a freshman who was shy and who never smiled because his teeth were rotten and filled with cavities. I went to a dentist and said, what would you charge to fix his teeth correctly, which at that time meant extractions and dentures. He told me, and I said, if I pay you next summer when I have a job, will you do it now? He said, yeah. I wondered some years later, why would a student that didn't have any money, didn't have a job, barely could afford to go to school, do such a silly thing? But it changed somebody's life. You will have the opportunity to do the same thing. 3 years ago, my wife and I drove to Colorado. We drove through Dalhart, Texas, 750 miles from Beaumont in one day. We stopped at the Holiday Inn and registered, and I noticed something about the young lady that checked us in. And after I put my wife in the room, I went back down, and she was, at that time, the young lady was standing by herself, and I said, will you do me a favor? Now, here's an old man with a young woman. And she probably thought I was a pervert. I said, would you do me a favor? And she said, yes. I said, would you smile? She said, yes, and she did. It confirmed what I observed, for her teeth were totally rotten. And I said, have you ever wanted to get your teeth fixed? She said, yes. I said, but you couldn't afford it, could you? She said, no. And I gave her my card. I thought I'd push this as far as I could. I gave her my card, and I said, if you choose to contact me, I will see that you get your teeth fixed correctly. The next day, we were driving, and we were by that time in Colorado, and she emailed me, and she said, is this something that's too good to be true, or is it real? I said, contact me as I told you, and you'll find out. It took us 8 months to get it done correctly, but today she has perfect teeth and smiles all the time. And her then 5-year-old daughter was so proud of her mother. You may not be able to afford to do that, because it was considerably more expensive than fixing that boy's teeth before. But the bookends of my life showed me I cared about people's teeth and was willing to give. The discipline of giving and the art of giving are things that you must learn if you want to have a fulfilled life, because what you get will only make you a living. It's what you give that will make you a life. My wife and I, one last story about that, and I could tell you hundreds and hundreds of stories. My wife and I taught school in Golden Meadow, Louisiana. If you don't know where that is, don't worry, nobody else does either. She taught the 4th grade, and I taught in the junior high. I had a little girl named Vivian Billiot. Vivian was mixed race and attended class about one day out of the week. She was the smartest kid I've ever met in my life. My wife and I took her. We made $300 a month between the two of us. And we lived sumptuously. Of course, back then, gas was 25 cents a gallon. We took her to the clothing store, bought her a red dress and some other clothes. About 15 years ago, I found Vivian's address, and I wrote her. A year later, I got a letter back. She said, I'm sorry for being so long and writing you again, but my life has been difficult, but my children are doing better now, and things are better. She said, when I was in the 7th grade, a teacher bought me a red dress. Was that you? And by that time, I was weeping. She said, I wore that dress until it fell apart. It's the only dress I've ever had. My wife and I thank God that we cared enough to give when we really didn't have anything to give. I challenge you, find people that have less than you and give. Opportunities to be a giver will abound in your life. Secondly, pay your debt. In his letter to the Romans, the Apostle Paul admonished Christians to owe no man anything but a debt of love. You say, but I've paid my tuition and my fees. What debt do I have to Lamar? I want to assure you that the cost of your education is more than you paid. And what your teachers and professors and mentors have given to you is more than they were compensated for. You all have accumulated a debt of love, and over the next 50 years, you will have the opportunity to pay that debt, but begin soon. Before the year is out, send a $10 check to the general fund. They'll tell you how to do it. And every year thereafter, I want to tell you, it will enrich your life more than your degree will. There's so many other things I'd like to tell you about that, but my time, they're going to pull the hook on me in a minute. Thirdly, join a team. In his remarkable book, The Fifth Discipline, Dr. Peter Senge, who's a professor at MIT in Boston, talked about the value of a team. He said this, and I quote, "Most of us at one time or another have been part of a great team, a group of people who functioned together in an extraordinary way, who trusted one another, who complemented each other's strengths and compensated for each other's weaknesses, who have had common goals that were larger than individual goals and who produced extraordinary results. I met many people who have experienced this sort of profound teamwork in sports or in the performing arts." There you are again. And many say that they have spent much of their life looking for that experience again. What they experienced was a learning organization. The team that became great didn't start off great. It learned how to produce extraordinary results. Find a team, be an effective part of that team, or start a team, form a team. If you're fortunate, you'll be part of many teams in your life. Some will come and go, and some will be there for a lifetime. Your marriage will be a team. And, you know, we have a coach and a boss of our team, and there she sits right over there. Yes, ma'am. You know what? You want to know the secret to being married 54 years successfully? Learn to say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, and I'll never do it again." If, as an alumnus, you contribute to this new team, your commitment to make it a life, paying your debt, and being part of a team, you should begin by the $10 I talked about. Next, prepare to be measured. Remember the lyrics of the September song? But the days grow short when you reach September, when the autumn weather turns the leaves to gold. You remember the spring of your life? Yes, it was yesterday. It is in the autumn that we look back and measure ourselves. And how do we measure ourselves? Winston Churchill, once again, there's that man again. He said, "Every night I try myself by court-martial, not to see if I've just gone through the steps, but have I done something significant that day?" And it occurred to me, if you do something of significance today and tomorrow and the next day, 50 years from now, you'll discover you've lived a life of significance. And the significance is by what you judge and your values judge. Another example of being worthy of and also paying your debt. In the movie Saving Private Ryan, there's a scene that always brings tears to my eyes. It's when Ryan, who's now in his 70s, returns to Normandy, where my wife and I visited the American cemetery on the beaches of Normandy 8 years ago. It's hauntingly beautiful and a place of great majesty. And this old man of 75 years old haltingly walked to the place where Captain Miller, the man who saved his life, and looks down at his grave, and his knees buckle, and as he crumples to the ground, he pleadingly says to his wife, tell me that I've been a good man. Tell me that I've deserved this." Because Miller's last words to him, if you've seen the movie, you did as I did, you wept. He said, "Deserve this, earn this." Deserve and earn what you've received here today by how you live your life. When Kent Keith was a sophomore at Harvard College in 1968, he said the following, "I saw a lot of idealistic young people go out into the world to do what they thought was right and good and true, only to come back a short time later discouraged or embittered because they got negative feedback or nobody appreciated them or they failed to get the results they had hoped for. I told them that if they were going to change the world, they had to really love people, and if they did, that love would sustain them. I also told them that they couldn't be in it for fame or glory. I said that if they did what was right and good and true, they would find meaning and satisfaction, and that meaning and satisfaction would be enough. If they had the meaning, they didn't need the glory. Now listen very carefully. This talk is already posted on my website, and I hope you'll print a copy and give to your parents, your grandparents, or your children when you have them. To encourage students and sustain them in their journey, Keith wrote the paradoxical commandments of leadership. And here they are. There are 10 of them. 1, people are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. People favor underdogs but follow only top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help but may attack you if you do help them. Help people anyway. And the last one, give the world the best you have and you'll be kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you have anyway. Those may sound cynical, but it's really kind of the way the world works. Don't be discouraged by it. Just overlook it and go on. As you attend your own commencement today, you commence your future. As young people live in such a way that when you stand in my place, over 75 years of age, you can be fulfilled with it. You can look back on a life fulfilled with joy, a life filled with joy, peace, thanksgiving, and satisfaction. Today I bid you Godspeed. That phrase is not often used. But I pray that God gives you the strength and the ability and the will to speed along your way. I bid you farewell in the trust that you and your life will fare well, and you will enjoy the speed of the power of God. In your life, honor your family, your university, your community, and yourself. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Holly. I think that was a wonderful message, and I'm so glad that you prepared to be here today. We will now have the certification of the graduates. President Evans, will you please join me? And will the candidates for the doctor's, master's, and baccalaureate degrees please stand and remain standing? President Evans, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Fine Arts and Communication, I am pleased to present the candidates who have met all the requirements for the listed degrees.
Thank you, Dean Holzhausen. Graduates, congratulations. Shortly, I'm going to shake your hand, and when I do that, two things will happen. One, I congratulate you on the culmination of this part of your journey. There'll be many other parts, no doubt. And the other is, I want to thank you for letting us be part of your life for the brief period of time that we had you here. With that, I'm now going to turn to my official role. So, by the authority vested in me and Lamar University by the Board of Regents of the Texas State University System, I confer upon you the degrees for which you've been certified, admitting you to all the rights and privileges which throughout the world pertain to those degrees. Unfortunately, however, there's one last test you must pass. So I'm going to ask you, in the tradition, universities across the world, to take your tassel that's on your front right and move it to the left. Congratulations.
President Evans and guests, we now have the presentation of the College of Fine Arts and Communication graduate class of May 2019, beginning with the doctor's and master's degree candidates and followed by baccalaureate candidates in the order published in the program. Dr. Nichols, will you please come forward and introduce the doctoral candidates and their advisors?
Dr. Bill and Monica Harn, will you please join President Evans and the registrar at the front of the stage? I am pleased to present the name of Lorena Escobar and her doctoral advisor, Dr. Ashley Dawkins. Ms. Escobar has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and by the graduate faculty for the Doctorate of Audiology degree. Ms. Escobar and Dr. Dawkins, please come forward. Congratulations, Dr. Escobar. I am pleased to present the name of Kendra Landry and her doctoral advisor, Dr. Connie Howard. Ms. Landry has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and by the graduate faculty for the Doctorate of Audiology degree. Ms. Landry and Dr. Howard, please come forward. Congratulations, Dr. Landry. I am pleased to present the name of Paige Lyon and her doctoral advisor, Dr. Ashley Dawkins. Ms. Lyons has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and by the graduate faculty for the Doctorate of Audiology degree. Congratulations, Dr. Lyon. I am pleased to present the name of Taylor Lyon and his doctoral advisor, Dr. Ashley Dawkins. Mr. Lyon has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and the graduate faculty for the Doctorate of Audiology degree. Congratulations, Dr. Lyon. I am pleased to present the name of Katie Miller and her doctoral advisor, Dr. Connie Howard. Ms. Miller has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and by the graduate faculty for the Doctorate of Audiology degree. Congratulations, Dr. Miller. I am pleased to present the name of Kaylee Pennington and her doctoral advisor, Dr. Connie Howard. Ms. Pennington has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and by graduate faculty for the Doctorate of Audiology degree. Congratulations, Dr. Pennington. I am pleased to present the name of Andres Ramirez and his doctoral advisor, Dr. Heather Reading. Mr. Ramirez has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and by the faculty for the Doctorate of Audiology degree. Congratulations, Dr. Ramirez. I am pleased to present the name of Megan Young and her doctoral advisor, Dr. Aaron Byrne. Ms. Young has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and by the graduate faculty for the Doctorate of Audiology degree. Congratulations, Dr. Young. Dr. Harn and Dr. Diane Clark, please join Dr. Evans. I am pleased to present the name of Scott Pott and his doctoral advisor, Dr. Diane Clark. Mr. Pott has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and by the graduate faculty for the Doctorate of Deaf Education degree. Congratulations, Dr. Pott. I am pleased to present the name of Kimberly Puddin-Smith and her doctoral advisor, Dr. Diane Clark. Ms. Smith has been recommended by the Dean of Graduate Studies and by the graduate faculty for the Doctorate of Deaf Education. Congratulations, Dr. Puddin-Smith. Now we will continue with the presentation of the class of May 2019 beginning with the College of Graduate Studies, followed by the academic departments in the order they are published in the program.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. Master of Music, Elijah Ray Cutler. Master of Science in Deaf Studies and Deaf Education, Brittany Stevenson. Master of Music, Elijah Ray Cutler. Mark Wayne Martin. Keith Freeman Walls. Master of Science in Speech Language Pathology, Imo Akpan. Kurin Boudreau. Marilee Catherine Brinson. Kelsey Marie Burt. Brooke Nicole Cleveland. Richard Julian Datu. Caitlin Marie Dussel. Shelby Ashlyn Fincher. Taylor Danielle Friend. Selena Grace Fabi Gernali. Haley Adele Gilder. Alyssa Beatrice Gilman. Alyssa Marie Grafagnano. Christina Adela Guerra. Melanie Michelle Handley. Kennedy Eileen Kilpatrick. Morgan Page Mayu. Jordan Allison Nixon. April Lynn Pruitt. Chelsea Alexandra Reed. Julia Ann Richardson. Vanessa Rodriguez. Jada Renee Simon. Kristen Nicole Small. J.C. L. Smith. Jessica Renee Sykes. Kertisha Denise Williams. Cody Yarborough. Bachelor of Fine Arts in Graphic Design, Mallory Janelle Gray. Jeremiah R. Hall Bryant. Trong Thay Lee, magna cum laude. Alec A. Pedraza. Diana Coulé Pina, Reed Honors College graduate, summa cum laude. Vashawn Taylor. Braylon Thompson. Monica Rochelle Trevino. John Anthony Villalobos, magna cum laude. Bachelor of Science in Graphic Design, John Michael Odom. Bachelor of Fine Arts in Studio Art, Gail Marie Binyagi, magna cum laude. Bachelor of Science, Communication, Alyssa Angel. Jolie K. Basie, magna cum laude. Thank you. Ladavia Brianna Bundage. Hannah Grace Carlson, Reed Honors College graduate. Morgan Emily Collier, magna cum laude. Laura Ann Fosdick, magna cum laude. Richard Owen Haley. Madeline Diane Hammond. Anthony Jaquez Hardy. Tyler Colt Hargraves, magna cum laude. Tara Nicole Harrington. Muriel Onise Lovick. Hisham Barella Jamal Alil. Cassandra Marie Jenkins, magna cum laude. John Wesley Jones II, summa cum laude. Dylan Lutz, cum laude. Emily Ariana McCurley. Eddie Lee McGill Jr. Austin Wycliffe Mintus. Eric Matthew Matog. Merrick Needham. V. Nam Wang Ni, cum laude. Nathaniel Allen Payne, Reed Honors College graduate and summa cum laude. Daniel James Pemberton, Reed Honors College graduate, magna cum laude. Abigail Taylor Pennington. Dallas Andrew Rector. Jonathan Reese. Lauren Sanders. Markel Lachey Williams. Monica Stroshine, cum laude. Jerry Lee Brooke Suderth. Emily Ann Sumrall, cum laude. Lainey Danae Tesh, mag cum laude. Courtney Lynn Marie Thorne. Michael James Tobias. Michelle Watson. Chanel Ladian Weatherthaw, summa cum laude. Bachelor of Arts in American Sign Language. Bailey Marie Ballard, cum laude. Nicole Coop. Stephanie Claire DeMeyer, with a second degree in Bachelor of Science in Communication, summa cum laude. Alexandra Taylor Hudson. Amber Clara Kane, magna cum laude. Baron Douglas Kane II. Chase Martinez. Bachelor of Art in Music. Kimberly Isabel Guevara, magna cum laude. Bachelor of Music. Reed Tyler Burkham. Israel Castaneda. Michael Wei-Ting Chang. Connie Ann Cormier, cum laude. Brea Marshall, cum laude. Nicholas Colin Quintana. Cynthia Resendez, cum laude. Adrian Rodriguez. Bachelor of Science in Speech and Hearing Sciences. Delaney Ann Alexander, summa cum laude. Mariah Shells Alvarez. Carly Danielle Barney, Reed Honors College graduate. Madeline Lillian Brewer. Emily Chavez, magna cum laude. Megan Danae Cooper, summa cum laude. Mackenzie Davis, magna cum laude. Caitlin Elizabeth Eakin, summa cum laude. Haley Ann Ferguson, summa cum laude. Molly Freed. Taylor Renee McKinney, magna cum laude. Lakeisha Newline Oliver. Natalie Marie Furr, Reed Honors College graduate, summa cum laude. Cole Phelan Simon. Caitlin Amber Terrazas. Sean Anthony Torres. Carly Elizabeth Weaver, summa cum laude. Nyandel Treve Williams, cum laude. Hannah Michelle Wright. Bachelor of Science in Theater and Dance. Dalen Fox. Brianna Gail Georgie, summa cum laude. Caitlin Elizabeth Kirk. Krista Lee Giambao. Jennifer Marie Salazar. Alicia Vela.
Congratulations once again. One more major award is to be made. The Otto Plummer Award honors the baccalaureate graduate with the highest grade point average in her or his graduating class. With the following graduate, please come forward and receive your certificate and check from President Evans. Ms. Natalie Spear, Bachelor of Science, Speech and Hearing Sciences. Congratulations again. Graduates, today you join more than 80,000 others throughout the world who are Lamar alumni. I would like to take this opportunity to recommend that you get involved with the Lamar University Office of Alumni Affairs, as Dr. Holly suggested. This provides continued involvement with the university, networking, and opportunities to help other students achieve what you have achieved. Those role models are really important. I encourage you to get involved with this important arm of the university. Again, congratulations and thank you for sharing commencement with us, also the family, friends, and other supporters. Best wishes to all our graduates. Please stand for Lamar's alma mater.
Next time we get together is about 4:30-ish. Okay? A little bit before 4:30. Just be ready to go at 4:30. All right? See you then. The next ceremony does start at 5. Okay? So 4:30.